Welcome to the Spirit and Soul Studio Goddess of the Month for October 2021, by the way. um, the goddess that stepped forward this month was Athena. Athena, she's the Greek goddess of war, wisdom, and the arts. And I'm sure that you've heard her name more than once. She's very, very well known, especially in the Greek culture. And just, I think even in history books and all of these things, when you learn about the mythology, Athena is a very, very prominent figure. So Athena was not actually birthed. She sprung from the head of her father Zeus. She's a virgin goddess and is understood to be more about the mind than about the body. So she's a strategist and she is known for her intellectual prowess. She's an independent goddess who bows to no man or no god. I mean, sounds like my kind of girl. But Athena really came through in this very interesting way, very, very short and sweet and swift message. It was like, okay, got to get in, get out. So what happened was she took me to a corn and wheat field and she held out her hand and for me to walk with her. And I could hear like the rustling of the stalks in the wind and the crunch. There was like hay beneath my feet and I could hear the crunching, and it was a very cool, crisp afternoon. And we walked until we reached this circle of people that were there already, and they were in the middle of this large flat field with hay on the ground, and everything was just surrounded by corn and wheat. And she said in an English accent, why I don't know, that knowledge is only power if you use it. She said that we learn and obtain information, but we don't apply it to our lives and speak to others. She said, knowledge has its own life and needs to spread and be spoken about. She said she had me sit in the circle with everybody, and these people that were there, they were making shapes with their bodies all together. They were making stars by laying on the ground with their feet in the middle. They were standing up with their hands in the air. And I found that as I was like really starting to fall in sync with them with my own movements. And Athena said that we have ancient knowledge and wisdom buried deep within us. And these shapes are invocations for the great goddess. So giving back to her in gratitude is what we were really doing. And this was an ancient practice. And basically we're allowing, ourselves to remember with ease. So I was allowing myself to remember with ease. And she said, fall in deep to your ancient wisdom and remember your ancient ways. Then practice them and speak about them and help others remember their own ancient wisdom. And that's our job. Be the activator of the ancient wisdom within for yourself, but also for others. And then she hugged me and I whispered to her that I would continue to be that activator. So I found Athena's message really moving. And honestly, it's something that I've been really feeling in my life for a long time, like deep in my bones. And to really hear it from the goddess just makes me realize how important it is to recall this ancient wisdom that really lies deep within. So the feeling of being in step with these ancient souls and giving gratitude to the great goddess, it was so familiar and so amazing all at once. I can just see myself in it, and it was incredible. All right, so let's break down the message. So Athena says, knowledge is only power if you use it. Like, damn, Athena, goddess of war, you're like coming out the gate with these fighting words, right? I mean, maybe it's not right? Like, why are these fighting words? Well, in coaching and really in the spiritual space, we often see people with all of this knowledge of everything they've learned, and they're not using it. Like maybe they're using it a little bit in their own life, maybe. Um, but a lot of times I feel like it's in the back of their mind. Like they know it, right? But we're in these spaces and we're hungry for knowledge and we're thirsty for knowledge. But what good is it really doing you if it just sits in your brain as an untapped resource or something you think of every now and then? So, spreading the knowledge and using the knowledge is really the key here. So, if you're not acting on all that you know, then you're never going to get ahead, right? Like if you have all of this knowledge and all of this data and all of these things stored in your mind and you're not using it to push yourself forward and propel yourself forward, then you're never going to get where you want to go. You're going to stay exactly where you are and also probably knowing exactly what you need to do and just not doing it. Um, and you hear it all the time. Like, I know what I have to do. I just have to do it. How many times have you heard that? Right? How many times have you heard someone say it? How many times have you said it yourself? So, using your knowledge is what spreads knowledge, talking about it, weaving it into your life. And Athena said, knowledge has its own life and needs to be spread and spoken about. I love this idea. And what they're doing is what, what she was really kind of telling me is that knowledge has its own energy and it's its own entity. And it reminded me of that book. I don't know if you read it, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. If you haven't, it's a great book. And she talks about creativity in the same way that you get these ideas and these ideas are their own entities and they want to be born. So they latch on to the person that they think will bring that idea to life. And if you don't bring that idea to life, it will move on from you. Think about how many times you've maybe thought of a really great idea and then never acted on it. And then all of a sudden it comes out like that thing was meant to be. This actually happened to me and my husband when we were in Mexico and they served terrible beer at our all inclusive and we kept asking for limes in the beer. Actually, no, they kept bringing it out to us with a lime and it tasted so much better. And we were like, oh, so we started putting it in all of our beers, even like a Bud Light or anything like that. And we started ordering Bud Light with lime when we went out, when we got home. And then all of a sudden, about a month, we were like, we should bring this to Bud Light. And then all of a sudden, about a month or two later, Bud Light with lime was born. We were like, damn it, that was our idea. But that's what happens if an idea goes to somebody hoping to bring it to life. And when it doesn't get brought to life, well, sorry, sister, it moves on. And the same thing really goes with knowledge. And not that knowledge is going to move on from you, but knowledge needs to be treated in that same form that you have the knowledge, you learn it, and then you pass it along, right? Think about even ancient practices. That's how knowledge was passed along through the telling of stories, right? So we need to really continue that. And we have to remember too that we are all connected. And the first law of thermodynamics says that energy can never be created or destroyed, right? So if we can think of knowledge as its own entity, then we can see that this energy, it can't stay stagnant in our system for long. It needs to live and to breathe by bouncing from person to person. So how can you begin to spread this knowledge, right? Well, an obvious answer is going to be to teach others, right? But that's not going to be for everybody. Teaching is not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. But spreading knowledge is also teaching by doing. So if you make soaps, let's say, you're teaching people how to care for themselves. You might not be teaching them how to make soap, but you're teaching people how to care for themselves, right? And really how to give themselves a moment of enjoyment every single day. And honestly, let's take it another step further. What sense smell nice together. It's not just the obvious and overt teachings, right? But it's the little things too that people can learn in the simple acts, like smelling a bar of soap and knowing that, you know what scents really go well together? Lemon and peppermint. You would never think, but they smell amazing, right? So things like that, people begin to learn, and you're spreading knowledge in that way. So Athena says that we have this ancient knowledge and wisdom buried deep within us. So the fact that you're here and you're listening to this message is you tapping into your ancient wisdom. It's a soul calling. You can deepen this by leaning into the feelings that are deep in your bones and the ones that are really calling out to you to remember your ancient self. This intentional piece of you that honors the divine and the earth and the magic that's within you. So, crystals and grids and gratitude offerings and sitting in circle with others, all of these intentional things help us to honor that side of us. We are human in a modern world. Yes, we are. But we are also a divine being, right? We talk about this all the time. And we honor our human side all the time. All the time. We honor this human side of us, but we don't always honor our divine side. So, intentional sacred acts like setting up a crystal grid and being a part of a moon circle really allows you to step back into your ancient self, even if it's just for a moment. Your body suddenly remembers what to do, even if your human mind is like questioning it all, right? So, Athena says to allow yourself to fall deep into your ancient wisdom, to let yourself go in that moment and be caught by your divinity. All right, so some really powerful affirmations for you to honor your wisdom are: the wisdom I seek is forever within me. There is divine wisdom within me, and I draw upon it. And every day, great truths are revealed to me. All right. So, those are some really great affirmations that you can use to deepen into that wisdom. And now we have some journaling prompts that can help you deepen into unearthing your ancient wisdom. So, here are some questions for you to ask yourself throughout this month. What is my ancient self trying to tell me? What would be the best way for me to honor my ancient wisdom? And what intentional practices can I do to bring my ancient self to the surface? So try journaling on those and really see what comes up, and and also in automatic writing, right? So a lot of this comes up in automatic writing where you just allow yourself to write, and then your soul starts speaking through. All right, now on to the crystals, my favorite part. So there are a lot of beautiful crystals that support Athena's energy and the energy of wisdom. So we have iolite, which I love, azurite, lapis lazuli. They're all great for connecting and honoring Athena. Then we have sunstone, also another favorite, some agate and blue apatite. They are so amazing for knowledge and wisdom. So you can meditate with them, you can just keep them by your side and just, call on your ancient knowledge, call on this ancient wisdom and Athena herself to help you tap into it. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening in on Athena's message to us. I truly believe that this short and sweet message is really so important as we move forward in this time of mass awakening. It's a way for us to understand and remember who we are as ancient souls and to really ground these practices of honoring the divine into earth. So, like I said, use these crystals and meditate with them. You can call on Athena. You can use them while setting up intentional practices. And then, of course, journal and automatic write on those questions because they're really going to allow you to dig deep and you're going to be surprised at what actually comes to the surface. So I hope to see you all at our goddess circle. And don't ever forget, you are a goddess, you are a queen.